Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to come live today. So my computer every time like does something interesting when I start and it gets me distracted. So sorry about that. So happy to come live today about this great topic. So today's topic of the live is signs of anxiety that you might not know about. This is really great topic because sometimes some people might have an anxiety and don't even realize that this things could be caused by the anxiety. So it is always good to know about different signs of the anxiety and how to recognize them. So if you don't know me yet, my name is Jenny Black and I'm a coach. I help high achieving women with stress, anxiety, and burnout. I help by working on mindset shifts, working on positive self talk, and also self love. And I create more peace and happiness in your life. So, so excited to talk today about this topic. Let's jump right in. So today, when we're gonna talk about the signs of the anxiety, first we're gonna talk about the most common signs of the anxiety, and then later we're gonna jump into and talk about other signs of anxiety that maybe you haven't heard about yet. So let's start with most common signs of the anxiety. So those are the feeling restless, wound up on edge. Like for example, like when you're racing everywhere, you just don't seem to calm down and like constantly on edge, constantly restless. Another one is not being able to do certain things due to fears. So that is quite common, and I get reach like lots of women reach out to me and telling me that, for example, they have a hard time driving because they're afraid to drive a certain distance from their home, or they're afraid to driving on the highways, um, or they're afraid to take their kids to certain activities. So there are very common, this is very common, not being able to do certain things due to the fears. So another one is a frequent fear and the panic attacks. Panic attacks are always have been associated with anxiety. So if you do have a panic attacks, that is quite common to have if you have an anxiety. Also, other one is having difficulty concentrating. So if you feel like your mind is like just racing 100 miles an hour and and you cannot seem to stop it to concentrate on the task at hand, then that's another common one. So some others are being irritable, having headaches, muscle aches, stomach aches, or unexplained pains. That is also pretty common. I get reached out, I get in my messages quite often. Women asking me, hey, I have this physical symptom. Can that be due to the anxiety? Yes, lots of physical symptoms can be due to the anxiety. Well, our bodies are very, very connected. So we have the nervous system that runs through all of our bodies, and we're also connected through all of our bodies through different hormones. So once that adrenaline kind of kicks in, it definitely can affect lots of parts of our body. So the most common ones are definitely the headaches and problems with the stomach, like you could have an irritable bowel, or you could feel nauseous. So different type of stomach aches, but it can also lead to the muscle pains as well, and some other things too. It really depends on the on the person, and everyone is so different. um, so other symptoms could be difficulty controlling feelings of worry, when you just worry, 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 and you can't stop. If you remember when you maybe were a student, or if you're a student right now and you have like an exam next day, and if you worry like a little bit, that's normal. Like having a little bit of worry, a little bit of anxiety, it's normal. So what we are very often talking about is something that really interferes with your life and prevents you from doing certain things. So if you worry like excessively, over that exam. You can't sleep, you can't do anything, you can't eat, things like that. So that would be an excessive worry and difficult controlling it. Um, so that could also lead to the sleep problems, and that's another common symptoms: having a sleep problems, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. You probably had that sometimes when you like wake up in the middle of the night and you're like your mind is racing. So again, if it happens on occasion, I think like we go through the daily stresses and anxieties, but if that's becoming something that is happening very often, that's maybe something that you want to look into into more detail and why it's happening. So, so we covered the most common signs. So now let's talk about the signs of the anxiety that you might not heard about. So this is also connected to so-called high function anxiety. I don't know. So the high function anxiety, not lots of people maybe know about it. I know some people are pretty aware of it or not. Um, so if you have an anxiety that very often people think if you have an anxiety it's really stopping you from doing anything, so you're like just stuck at home like sitting in the fear constantly. It's very debilitating, and that could happen to lots of people. But another type of anxiety can happen to a lot of people as well, which is a high functioning anxiety. So those are the people who look totally normal from outside. They go about their day, they do so many things, they achieving things and stuff like that. But there are certain symptoms that could be bugging them and really affecting them quality of life. And only maybe close people can know about them, or they might even not tell it to lots of people. But that certain anxiety could still interfere with their life, even though those women or men could look totally normal on the outside and they look like they don't have any anxiety. So this is called the high function anxiety. Um, so let's talk about those symptoms. So that is one is overthinking everything. So when like again like when you start thinking about stuff and you just think you like run constant scenarios about what could happen, what could go wrong, what will we rarely think overthink about what could go right. We always overthink about what could go wrong, and so we're constantly replaying scenarios, what would go wrong, what we could do, things like that. So that is overthinking. Another one is an ability to make decisions. Again, you can be so paralyzed by those thoughts that it could prevent you from making important decisions and moving on. So another one that is common is procrastination. Yes, that could be also a sign of the anxiety. Another one is fear of failure or fear of disapproval. Again, we live in a society, so we um, certainly programmed to do certain things. So it is okay to kind of like not wanted to fail or uh, being like kind of concerned about disapproval. But then when it becomes excessive, when it becomes like things that drives you really every day and worries you all the time, then fear of failure, fear of disapproval is definitely signs of the anxiety. Another one is people pleasing. Again, it's connected to like very often to the fear of disapproval when we please people and do certain things that not necessarily in our own best interest. So the next one is avoidance of conversations or certain situations. So the next one is extremely to being extremely self-critical. So extreme self-criticism is again not very healthy, and a lot of people who are anxious have this going on. So they could be very very critical to themselves and very often don't even notice that. So the next one is to be unmotivated, even if you know that you need to do it, even if you wish you could do it, but something holding you back, you're feeling stuck, you don't feel motivated to do that. That's another sign, right? So the next one is perfectionism. So So many people are attached to things being perfect, and that's why they never get done. So perfectionism is definitely something that is very muchly tied to the anxiety. Okay, so the next sign is being a workaholic. So if you're a workaholic and you work, 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 you could be praised by people that you work with. If it's in the corporate world, it could be like your boss, your colleagues, but it could really still affect other parts of your life, because if you're a workaholic, you're neglecting maybe your health, your family, your friends, your other social situations, where you pour yourself completely into the work and there is nothing else left to it. So that is definitely another sign of the anxiety. And so the last one for today that I want to talk about is an ability to relax. So yeah, that's again the thing where, like, you like so wound up and you're running around, and we have sometimes a hard time to just stop, sit down, just be with yourself, or like do things that you would really want to do, like read a book, go for a walk. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to do that because we are just unable to relax. So this is another sign of the anxiety. So we covered today a lot. We covered lots of signs today of the anxiety. We talked about the most common ones, which is feeling restless, not being able to do certain things, frequent fears and panic attacks, difficulty concentrating, irritability, not being able to sleep, some physical symptoms. We also covered the ones that not as commonly talked about, signs of the anxiety, which is related to high functional anxiety. That is overthinking, inability to make decisions, procrastination, fear of failure or fear of disapproval, people pleasing, avoidance, extreme self criticism, feeling unmotivated, being perfectionist, being a workaholic, and inability to relax. Well, hope that was really helpful. If you have any of those signs and you want to talk more about it, I'm, I would really love to talk with you about it. I right now have some open spots in my one-on-one coaching for my transformation course, Rewired for Peace. So this is a great course that will help you in so many levels on your anxiety. It will help you to form those healthy habits and move away from the habits that are not serving you well. So during this course, it's 4 months. We cover so many things. We cover about self-talk, how you can be more loving to yourself, how you can stop that self-criticism, how you can move to the space of more love for yourself. We also um, do some mindset work, and we uncover so many things and truths that can completely shift your mind immediately and give you immediate relief as well. We talk about emotions, we talk about thoughts, we talk about beliefs and desires. This is awesome. I know it have an ability to completely transform your life, to help you with anxiety and your stress and burnout on so many levels. So I still have some spots open for this month, and you're going to be working one-on-one with me. If you want to learn more about it, just send me a DM, which is a private message, and we can talk more, and I'll be happy to give you more information about it. So, if you listen to this talk and you have lots of other thoughts that you would like to share with me, please comment. Please send me a message as well. I would love to hear if any of those things surprised you, what you found surprising, what you found interesting, what you can relate to. I would love to hear about that. And thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.